welcome. I'm Guido, speaking is silver, touching is gold. And I'm here with my brother and Simon. Simon has actually a situation, so do you want to explain? Like what is the situation?
I have a stiff neck, and due to I did some headstand and I overstretched, so like it's a bit, no, not overstretched, the opposite, like a bit here in the back.
Yeah, it's cramping.
So, since then I have problems to turn, and I'm limited in my radius of movement.
Yeah, limited in radius. And can you like share more specifically where you feel that?
Yeah, it's up here, but I think it also originates lower. It's kind of in the very bottom. Yeah.
So in the inside of the shoulder blades,
and then also up here. Yeah.
and all the way in the
here.
in the line of the occiput.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Oh.
here, right? This whole line. Okay, so you can lay with your head down there. Now we're just gonna do some touch, and I'll guide you guys through it. That touching is actually way more about feeling and way less about thinking like how to touch someone in the best way. It's more about fully embracing the touch that you do, and we'll see if we can help him in like 10-12 minutes already to feel like way more relief. So without being it like a forceful goal, it's an objective. So I ask you to breathe deep in through your nose, and exhale and relax the jaw. See if you can open your mouth a bit with the exhale. Now make a little sound like like that people hear you, that your presence is heard. Yeah, like a lion that just wakes up, you know, like Can we do that? Yeah, that was more the lion. Okay. So I'm always like introducing my touch, not to go like directly like into the depth, but first just touching. Bringing my hand under the neck just to have like a full contact, just creating some length without going too deep yet. Warming it up, feeling it. So I'm not touching the spine specifically in the neck, the vertebrae, but just around them. And I'm not trying to put too much tension on my arms. I'm really beautiful, and you see him already responding. I'm really leaning into it, so keep breathing, brother. You're doing great. And you see his whole body responding to the touch. It makes actually so much sense that when we feel we are in safe hands, that we can drop deeper in a state of relaxation. It's not only something that we have to figure out alone. We're not here in this planet to experience everything alone. Beautiful. So how does it feel in terms of like, you feel it's like on the edge of pain? Not yet, eh?
No, it's a good 5.
It's a good 5. Perfect. So I'm always like using my body weight to lean. Instead of that I'm gonna forcefully pull with my strength, I'm more like leaning into it. So in that way I can stay way more into the relaxation, into the relaxedness, and I can give more sessions in that way without getting too much work in my body. Because I heard like a lot of therapists that are forgetting that it's actually about relaxing themselves as well. So otherwise you would need a massage. After you give like 3 to 5 massages, you need a massage yourself. It's not bad to have one though. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I give a little touch with my finger on his left side of his neck, because I feel there's like a point of tension, and I'm just gonna feel if I can stay in the flow without moving too much of my body. Like from the place, I'm staying on the same place, but I'm moving my whole body while I'm staying on the same place. And feeling that we're actually becoming one, if you will. Like I'm moving, but he's moving, but we're tuning into like the same type of movement. And then I'm mixing that up with like the holding of the place, attention that I really felt tense. And that is like underneath the cranium. So where the skull starts, right there. A lot of tension builds up there. I'm asking again him to tune in with his lion spirit, like, ah. Yeah, really make yourself like present when you exhale, like, ah. Yeah, exactly, man. Because often when we cramp, we make ourselves smaller. So you don't want to make yourself smaller, especially in a session. Tune into that you're actually allowed to be fully you, allowed to be there, allowed to be here. I'm really leaning in, almost using my whole body weight to lean back, to really make all the contractedness, the cramp, to lengthen it. You see beautiful shaking happening. That's also a way of the body to release tension. Yeah, brother, very good, beautiful. And it means that he can surrender deeper. If that happens, then you know that you're on a track and you're tuning into each other, you're holding space. So I'm gonna start fully at the shoulder blades now and really have my hands under. You can also do this if you don't have a table. You can sit on your knees and you can do this while someone's laying on like a mat. A yoga mat would already do. And from here you're gonna invite. So I'm inviting you, Simon, to breathe into the place where you feel the most touch of my fingers. And from that place you're actually gonna touch my fingers with your back. You understand what I mean? Exactly, brother. That's it. That's it. And now I want to ask you to really breathe into the belly indeed, and then to the chest. And not. So this is something that a lot of people know, that they have to breathe into the belly. But what we forget is that the breath is actually three-dimensional. So it's not only about low, breathing deep to your belly, but also breathing sideways, really expanding, taking your space in with the breath, and breathing like to the back, always to the back. So it's about the length, the side, and the depth. So three-dimensional breath. So can you do that to the back? So really that you touch my, yeah, exactly. There's a lot of gains to get there in the breath. Then the lung capacity will increase. Most people actually take about twice as much breath as they need in a day, because we became so shallow in our way of breathing. And the connectedness with our back and really breathing into our back is a strong factor. So let's do one more deep breath in the belly and then touch my fingers and exhale again with this roar. Yeah, that's it. And then we really take the space, because I felt really that it was touching me now. So it was, in a sense, he was giving my fingers a touch instead of my fingers him. And leaning into it. So always about slowing down and feeling how can I be more tuned in into what I feel, less into how fast I go or what I touch. want to feel how it feels. How does it feel to my fingers? How does it feel to his body? Yeah. And then I'm gonna finish this part off of the session with just like a little soft touch in the cranium, because the cranium also connects so much of our, I don't want to say like limited way of thinking necessarily, but more like a linear way of thinking. And if we relax the head more, we become more open again for different ways, different possibilities. So the body and mind are only separated because that's understandable for our head. Actually, they're way more interconnected. Okay, right. So what I also love to do is just to do a little bit flow at the end, tap more into this flow. It's very subtle because I know there's a situation going on, so we don't want to rush it too much. Beautiful. One of the things of the jungle is that there are still different insects than when you have a convenient space indoors, right? But the temperature is amazing. Alright. This side more lengthening. We used to call this the $1 million stroke in my first courses. And I asked them, why is it called the $1 million stroke? They're like, because it feels like receiving $1 million. So if you're like really tuning with your own body, you can also make it a stretching exercise for yourself. It doesn't have to be that taxing on your system. Yeah. And then naturally, it's also a balance of like charge, building up the energy, and then discharge. You see now the relaxation has occurred, so now it's actually important that we don't go too fast into shaking some other parts up. This is really like finishing touch. So stay with your breath, brother. Just gonna lengthen one part in his legs, this Achilles. This really helps to align that. This has so much interconnectedness, superficial back line to the back of the neck and the back of the heels here, the Achilles point. That's beautiful. Okay. Thank you, brother. Take it easy, don't rush. How does it feel? No words.
Blissful.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Let's do a break.